Welcome to the Big Ideas Show, and welcome Tony King.
Hello.
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 Hello. Thank you for joining us.
It's all right.
Bringing you out of the sea and into the hot seat.
Yeah, at last.
Because today we are talking about breaking barriers.
Yes.
And specifically for you around your swimming challenges that you have done multiple.
I have this year done multiple swimming challenges, yes.
And we're going to be hearing more about that and the barriers that you broke for yourself in doing so.
Yeah.
After these Tony King, thank you very much for joining me today.
You're welcome.
So we're talking about breaking barriers, aren't we?
Yes.
But for those of you, of the listeners out there who don't know, can you tell us what were the challenges you did and kind of the huge barriers that you broke for yourself?
Okay, so this year I swam the English Channel solo.
Wow.
In 17 hours, 13 minutes. Then I swam Lake Windemere, which is 11 miles, in just over 8 hours. And then I was part of a team which swam an English Channel relay and helped the first autistic and bipolar person to swim the English Channel as part of a 6-part relay team as well as doing a couple of coastal swims between St Margaret's and Deal, and Folkestone, between Folkestone and Hythe as well, and lots and lots of training in between. So I've basically been swimming the whole summer, which has been great fun. So yeah,
very impressive. And did you say, has it been all this year?
Yeah, the whole training, all of those swims I've done this year, and there are still a few to go as well. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, big stuff. We're filming this in October, aren't we? But this is actually going out in December. So you are like probably massive motivation. You're going to get people really psyched up for their New Year's resolutions and what crazy big goals they could potentially take on.
Yeah. If you've got a big goal, beginning of the year is a good time to take it on. Let's say.
Definitely. Okay, so I want to hear more about those goals, why you came up with them, what it took to kind of overcome them.
Yeah. But
first I want to ask you some quick fire questions.
Okay.
So first one is
a
silly or funny goal that you had as a kid.
A silly or funny goal I had as a kid.
That looking back, you go, what was I thinking?
I wanted to be ultra rich. I mean, like drippingly rich. Yeah. So I guess that was a bit silly, really, when you grow up. Not for some, but I was never the money making type. So I guess that was a bit silly. Yeah.
Was it? Had you watched Richie Rich or something like that?
Because I didn't have quite as much as other kids did when I grew up. Then that was something I really wanted. That's about the only thing. It was such a long time ago now. You know.
That's cool. Yeah. Okay, what's your New Year's resolution or goal?
I don't have one at the moment, but there are goals that I've set for next year. Swimming, which is to swim around Jersey. I've kind of got my eye on the Bristol Channel, which is 22 miles as well. Those two, I'd like to achieve those two swims next year.
Yeah.
So I guess if you were looking at something that I've set for myself, it would be that. But I haven't actually set any New Year's resolutions.
That's so funny that you're like, oh, I just want to swim the Bristol Channel and I just want to swim around Jersey, but I haven't really set myself any goals.
No. I mean, back in December, I had pneumonia and pleurisy. So by January, I was wondering whether I'd be able to do the swim at all. So that was a real goal of mine. So last year's were I just want to swim the English Channel. Yeah. I didn't even know about the other swims, but as soon as I'd done the Channel, then they became much more of a reality and much more achievable. So
it's addictive, right?
It is.
Okay, so what's a previous success, like one in particular maybe, that you think had the biggest impact on you now?
I think probably setting up a drama group in Folkestone called the Creative Players. And doing 4 productions with them, just from nothing, setting the whole thing up from nothing, and getting a whole group together and running everything, and the experience of doing that was strengthening.
Okay, and set you up to then.
That was really what taught me to if you believe in something, you can do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's a previous failure on the flip side, that you learned the most from? And I'm going to say failure in inverted commas, but...
I guess not achieving as much musically as I could have early on in my life, really. But I don't really look at my life in that way. Until now, I haven't had any major things that I've set myself that I've failed at, which is interesting because you learn more from failure than you do from success. But I'm not silly enough to know that may not be possible, that I may fail at some point. I may fail to swim around Jersey. I may fail to swim the Bristol Channel. That is always a possibility. But I guess that would be
okay.
If you can call it a failure, but I don't really.
I think that's why I wanted to go failure, because I'm with you. None of those things are a failure.
Yeah.
But I guess it's taking it in its classic terms. It didn't work out how you maybe thought. But
that's
you
right.
got something from it. You got the learning from
Definitely.
it. Nothing else. Okay.
Definitely.
Good stuff. What's your, and this is another in inverted commas, key to success? If you were to break it down.
Belief. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Good one. This is my one quickfire question that's given like one answer. Normally they're just long and epic. Okay. And who would you like to thank for a lesson or support or advice that really helped you along the way?
I would like to thank Loretta Cox, my coach. I would like to thank Dover Channel Training, all of them at Dover Channel Training, because they are such a lovely bunch of people. They've helped me immensely as well. The other swimmers who, with their experience, have taught me so much. Countless people. My mum, my sister Claire, my sister Zoe, all of my family. Vicky. Just the people that have been there for me, really. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's a good way to close up the quickfire questions.
Okay.
And let's go back into your story, shall
Right.
we?
Yeah.
So our theme for today is breaking barriers.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, you've done this epic challenge.
Yeah.
What is it about that title, that theme that we came up with, that really resonates for you? And what was that barrier that you felt that you kind of wanted or needed to break?
Yeah, well, for me, the training process wasn't quite as straightforward as it is for most people, because I suffered a lot with the cold. My hip flexor muscles would give out in the cold and they would render my legs useless. And I couldn't use my legs to swim. And I was in a lot of pain. I mean, we're talking huge amounts of pain. And I wouldn't be able to walk properly for hours afterwards.
Jeez.
And I was in a lot of pain. And so I thought I'm going to swim the English Channel anyway, but it's just going to be about pain.
Yeah.
So I went to see my doctor, and I got some medication. That helped a bit. And it was really when I switched from one group to another that when I went to see Dover Channel Training to do my 6-hour training swim, and one of them said, I said, I hadn't envisaged doing a 6-hour swim today. It was a night swim, so we arrived at 4 o'clock in the morning. We started the training session at 4 o'clock. And I said I hadn't envisaged doing a 6-hour qualifier, because you have to do a 6-hour qualifier in water that's 16 degrees or less. So, and she said, it's okay, we'll get you through it.
Yeah.
And just those words, it's okay, we'll get you through it, because I was part of a team. I felt that there was a lot of support, and I did my 6-hour training swim.
Yeah.
And that was really, really hard. And once I'd achieved that achievement spurred me on to be able to deal with the pain more. Plus the water warmed up more, and everything just sort of came together.
Yeah.
And then we had some really good weather as well, and the sea warmed up very quickly. And then the next barrier really was 10-hour training sessions, where your body starts to go through a process called ketosis, and your mind plays tricks on you after about 7 hours. And you want to kind of convince yourself to get out.
God, I'm impressed you even get 7 hours. I think most people, our mind plays tricks on us.
Yeah, but you do it in
before
stages.
You go in, right?
Yeah, you do it in stages. It's you just do it in stages, and then when you look back, that stage becomes something that's utterly conceivable. Mm-hmm. And then you do 10 hours, and 6 hours is it's down there.
Yeah.
And you do 10 hours, and then you look at the channel, and you think, well, that's going to take me about 14, between 12 and 14 hours, I thought. And then you're looking levelly at it. It's no longer somewhere that's up there. It's there.
Yeah.
So if I was going to say anything to anyone about breaking through barriers, it's to not just break through that barrier in terms of sports training, or any barrier really. It's once you broke that barrier, break it again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
You know, just for the hell of it, just because you can, and then set your barriers bigger. You know, it's like a climber. It's exactly how they climb Everest.
Okay.
You go to base camp, you stay there. Base camp is 6 hours in swimming, so you do that again and again and again.
Yeah.
And you're already at base camp, and then you do little forays up. You know, so you do a 6 and a 7, 6 and an 8. You know, and then a 10 and a 4, and so and then you go for the summit.
Yeah. So
that's how you train.
So did you always know that you wanted to do the channel, or had you started doing smaller swims and then you started going, actually, I could do a bit more? What about the channel?
No.
You went big straight away?
I went big straight away.
Yeah. What gave you where did that idea come from?
Well, I swam off Folkestone.
Yeah.
One day, and I hadn't been swimming really properly for years. And I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I probably swam about a mile. It was a long way, and then I came back in, and but while I was out there, I just decided I was going to swim the channel. That was it. And then I swam every day for a year.
Yeah.
In the sea.
Yeah.
I went swimming every day.
So what made you want to go do that swim on that day? Why that day? Why then? And why swimming if, like you said, you hadn't swum for a while? What was it, something you'd kind of done before and then not done it for a few years because other stuff had come up?
I think I wasn't in a great place in my life, and I wanted to be. I wanted to achieve something more than where I was at, and I decided that. I think that was what was really behind what made that day turn out that way.
Yeah.
And when I decided to do that, I then had a goal, and I never lost that goal until I achieved it. And I was careful when I did achieve it to have other goals, and for that not just to be, you know, to do that and then nothing.
Yeah.
I then had Lake Windemere. Then after that, I had a channel relay. Then after that, I had some coastal swims I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, because I was aware, because of the experience that other people have had, not to just have a drop off.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something.
You can get quite depressed.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely something I've experienced. That so much, and then you forget to look beyond, don't you?
Yeah, it's important to look beyond that.
So how long does it go? Like, we always have another goal in its place, but do you find they get bigger and bigger and bigger? And how do you then keep track?
It's tempting to do that, but yeah, in a way. There isn't a goal. There isn't a swimming challenge now that I would look at and say to myself, I don't think I'm going to do that. There are swimming challenges that I look at and go and think that's going to be extremely hard, much harder than the channel, such as Loch Ness, which is 24 miles long, in freshwater, which is not as buoyant, and you're looking at about between 12 and 14 degrees. That's a really, really tough swim. Then you've got the North Channel. Yeah. Again, about 14 degrees in high summer, rough. They're rough water, massive jellyfish. You get stung by one of them, put an end to your swim. Yeah. So huge challenges.
Yeah. Not just on the physical.
Not just on the physical. Yeah. Other things that mean failure is likely. Yeah. Rather than than it's not. But again, I would just draw on what people have said to me in terms of, there was a guy called Nicholas Murch, and he said, when I was talking about doing the channel, he went, "Matt, what are you going through? It's just a day. It's just a day." Yeah. You know? Yeah. and that those simple things, like Emma France, when she said to me, "It's all right, we'll get you through it." You know, and those simple things, they stick.
Yeah, and can you tell me about like the I guess some of the process, but specifically you saying there it's just a day, and something that I'm always fascinated by is often our goals are one thing, one big race, you know, whatever it may be, all culminates in one thing. But it's not just that one day. It's the whole what that day how it allows you to feel, and you kind of hinted towards it.
Yeah.
How does having that focus make you as a person, you know, having that goal versus not having the goal?
For me, I guess the psychology behind why I wanted to achieve what I achieved was so that I could have more of a sense of self-worth, and that's a tangible achievement with something such as a channel swim.
Yeah.
You once you've done it, you have done it, and people's reactions mean something to you. Yeah. And there's some ego involved. There's some, but it's not a self-ingratiating thing. I think for some it means different things to different people. Some people are very humble. They wouldn't even tell you they've done that, or it's not something I go around telling everybody that I've done.
Yeah.
But once you've achieved something like that, you just have more of an air of self-worth about you, and you know what it is to break barriers.
Yeah.
You know what that means.
Yeah.
So then that can be translated to anything, to any achievement, you know. And so I look at that, and I look at other achievements that I want to bring about in my life, such as you know, learning more about music, about the guitar and songwriting again, you know, and the challenge of being a swimmer for so long, and then translating success with that into success with something else.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, breaking barriers, doing other things.
Yeah.
I guess that's my next barrier.
Okay.
Is to not just achieve swimmy things,
yeah.
but to achieve swimmy things and achieve other things as well.
Yeah.
And not to lose focus on things that are really important in my life, or the most important things in my life, such as George and other people in my life, you know, and what have you, and my business, and you know, all of those other things.
Yeah.
You become quite self-obsessed.
Yeah, you got to get that balance.
Yeah, you got to get that balance. That's an achievement in itself.
So what would you say then are some of the takeaways that you've learned from the swimming and continuing to learn from the swimming that you think are particularly you're particularly present to wanting to then apply, or that will be useful to apply in, for example, the music, other areas that you mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, tenacity, practice, patience, resilience, and realising that you can't get it all done in a day, but to be proud of yourself for what you've achieved that day, to not panic. To not panic, to not worry, because if your barriers are something that you have decided that you will fail at, you can put too many obstacles in front of yourself, and you're basically suggesting failure before it's occurred. You have to just be proud of what you've achieved that day, not worry too much. Not get stressed, and be proud of yourself. And if you don't achieve your goal, don't worry about it. Yeah. Don't back out as soon as you something's gone a little bit awry, and then give up. Yeah. Basically, and so many people can do that, especially swimmers as well. So I didn't achieve this, or that's gone wrong. It will go wrong. Yeah. You'll get a jellyfish sting. You'll be sick. Your feed won't go like you thought it would. You'll get cramp. You know, there are a multiple amount of things that can go wrong in a channel swim, and you have to just carry on and be proud and be strong, and it's the same with other things.
Yeah.
But don't panic.
Yeah. Do you think we put a lot of our own barrier? Not only have we got the kind of the bigger barrier that we kind of maybe take the challenge on for to confront, but then we put those little barriers. You kind of alluded to it, like, oh, I can't do it because of this, or this has come up, therefore there's another barrier, and
then your barriers are not the physical challenge, are not the actual challenge that you've set yourself. Your barriers are your own capacity for stress. Your barrier is your own psychology, and your barrier is your own suggestion of self-failure. You must believe in yourself, and to do that, you mustn't worry. You will achieve it. You've really got to love yourself in a way of. In quite a simple way, instead of being quite complicated and you know, it's got to be simple. You know, you've got to, it needs to be simple, so that it's something you can get up every day and come back to. Instead of yesterday was such a massive failure, or such a massive that it's had such an effect on your mind that you know. And you know, look, I've achieved all of my goals this year in terms of swimming, so I'm very proud of that. But those they could have been failures, and some of those failures might not be my fault. It might have got rough. The £3,000 I spent on my channel swim might have been down the drain because the sea decided it didn't want me in it, because the weather decided it was going to kick up, because I was sick, because I got jellyfish stings that were too much, because I was too slow. And they had to turn the boat around. And they called my swimming, and then I'd be sat on the other side of it. You know, in a way, it would also be prudent to talk to people who have failed, and pick themselves up from that. Because I tell you what, it's much easier to carry on after a success than it is to carry on and achieve and win after a failure. And I've only been doing open water swimming for 1 year, and I haven't failed yet. But I will, you know, and that day will be something that I'll have to deal with just as much as it was, you know, and having failed in the early stages where I wanted to get further than I did and I couldn't because of the pain, there'll be some experience there, so.
But that's where the learning is, isn't it?
The
failure, like I said, you've got a lot of learning still to come. In those potential failures.
Definitely.
Tony, it's been awesome. I could keep asking you loads more questions.
That's all right.
But we had better kind of relatively wrap it up.
Okay.
So, can you finish by telling us? We've been kind of talking about your kind of the challenge and for you doing it. But can we summarise, like, why were you doing it, and what the fundraising that you're doing around it? So
the fundraising that I did was for 7 groups in St Margaret's at Cliff, where I live, a little village between Dover and Deal, and all of these groups help children. So the toddler group, the nursery, St Margaret's Players, the PTFA, football club, the Scouts and the cricket club. They've all got a lot to do with the village, and they year in, year out help children in the village. And so I decided to raise money for them, principally in St Margaret's, but I had donations from all over the planet, which was amazing. People were so supportive, people helped out so much, and currently I think the total stands somewhere around £5,500, which is amazing. So I'm very proud of how helpful people have been for that.
Really epic.
So it's been great to do that, and that's really been an eye opener as well. Is to kind of how, because when I did the 10 hours training sessions, it suddenly became something that I was like, oh, okay, I can do the English. But for other people, it was like, oh my God, you know. And when I was doing my swim as well, the last part of it lasted a long time because it was quite stormy. and during those 3 hours, raised something like £2,500.
Wow!
Because people were looking at the tracker, because you can track it. And everybody shared it, and there were like hundreds of people watching it, and they were all donating like crazy.
Amazing.
Which was amazing.
Yeah,
you know,
that must be incredible for you to get out of the water and go, wow, that struggle.
Yeah, I was never in any doubt.
Yeah,
it was never. I was not getting out of the water until I got there.
Amazing.
And I was very, very, very tired. Yeah.
I bet.
Really
Probably an
was.
understatement, isn't it?
Yeah, I got back on the boat and slept almost immediately.
What was the first meal you had when you got back?
I didn't eat a lot actually, because my body had gone out of eating mode, and I'd taken on so much carbohydrates, so I was sick when I got back on the boat. Then I slept all the way back to Dover, and then there were a crowd of people who turned out to meet me, which was really lovely. My family, people from St Margaret's. It was just amazing. I think I ate a little bit when I got home about 2 o'clock in the morning. Then I slept for about 4 hours, not much. And then I didn't eat a lot.
Okay, I thought you were going to say, I had a massive cake or something.
because you don't really. You're still running on adrenaline for 2 days. That adrenaline that's got you is pumping through your body, so you don't really settle down for a couple of days. I didn't really sleep properly until day 4, when I slept for 14 hours. And I was sick actually on day 4 as well, because I got a little tummy bug, which probably caught from the water or whatever, but there's nothing serious. But you don't really settle down for about a week after doing something like that. And I'm sure it's the same with people who do marathons and big climbs and all the rest of it as well,
Big stuff. Hopefully people are getting all inspired and like fired up to do something big for their new year. Or not just for their new year, just in general, whenever it may be. It doesn't have to be New Year, but that's when everyone tends to think about it, so why not join the fun of coming up with some crazy stuff. So by the time this goes out, your fundraising will probably have closed, but you will be on to the next thing, I'm sure.
I've got a few more coastal challenges. I'll keep swimming in the sea until it's no longer comfortable to do so that I would imagine that'll be at least for another month. My next swim is from the harbour arm to Dover Western Docks, straight across. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'll probably do that in the next few days. And then I'll do those 3 swims probably again this year, and then I'll be getting in. I really want to stay in the sea through the winter, so I'll probably get a shorty wetsuit and swimming. I'll swim out there without a wetsuit for as long as I can, and then next year I'll do some pool training, work on my technique a bit more, try and get a bit faster. Something I need to work on, and then next year I'll be swimming around Jersey.
Wow.
Which is great fun.
So where can people, if they want to support you when your Jersey trip comes around, how should people get in touch, whether it's kind of for now or for the future? I
mean, I won't be collecting any, I won't be fundraising for Jersey, but if people want to get into open water swimming, they're welcome to contact me. They can contact me on Facebook at Tony King Swims, or they can look me up on Facebook, ask me any questions. If they want to get into practicing open water swimming in any capacity, whether they are doing a challenge or not, or for whatever reason they just want to swim with some people who love swimming in the sea, or lakes or rivers or whatever, then Dover Channel Training are really the guys to go and see, and they're a lot of fun. They're a really lovely bunch of people, and they're there every weekend from 8 o'clock in the morning until kind of about 4 in the afternoon, maybe 5 in the afternoon. So
awesome. It's got to be fun, hasn't it? At the end of the day, that's what it starts with. Have fun.
It does. It does.
Keep going.
You got to love it.
Definitely. Tony, thank you so much. It's been wonderful chatting, and good luck with
your
next trips. Bye.
Bye.